Eve Echoes Market. The only market guide you will ever need, I think. So this is part 2. So it's time to tackle the harder part of Eve Echoes Market. If you haven't seen the first one, I would advise you to look at that first. Unless you're an intermediate trader, then you know pretty much the basic. Yes, we are going to talk about investing. Investing, like in any other games, is buying stuff that you hope will become more expensive with time. It's nothing like day trading, station trading, or region trading. Investing, I would say, is focused on 4 main things, and that is ISK amount, knowledge, predictions, time and patience. So time and patience is pretty much the same thing. All these things are of equal importance. If you remove one aspect of these 4 things, the outcome will suffer. So to sum that up, if you have and get all these 4 things correct, then you will make a lot of ISK fast. This is the way I trade nowadays in Eve. I was able to do that when my ISK went up. I started with region and station trading, and as soon as I got more money, then investing is possible. What does it all mean? The ISK you got will limit the amount we'll make on a specific time scale. The knowledge of the game will make you able to understand how and what items that will be affected. Prediction of the future is very hard, as well as predicting that all of you guys right now who might start doing this as well. That stuff is extremely difficult, but I would say that when doing predictions for something, you need to be able to understand more than just I have a hunch. I will delve into this more later in this video. Then you also have time and patience. You need to be able to hold your items until they are worth more. So it's very important not to spend all your ISK on investments. I usually set aside a percentage of ISK for investments. I personally go for 55 to maybe 70% into investments. The percentage goes up like as time, like when I make more money, I can change that percentage, of course. And when I have enough money that it's like percentage is not even viable, then I just decide a flat number to keep. So for example, like, okay, I need 10 billion to have fun with. The rest I can have in investments. But the important thing is that you don't emergency sell. By this I mean that you're selling because you're short on cash. That is very bad. I do want to add that there is a few reasons that you could emergency sell. For example, let me see. If you know that one item that you have bought is becoming obsolete for some reason, then you want to ditch that item, of course. Or if you drastically see a bigger investment that you want to get onto, then you could sell the lesser one, so you can get the money, and you make you take a little bit of a hit, but then you get into something a lot better. That is also a way that you could do. Now, what do you buy? How do you know? And how can you think about potential investments? So let's start with something basic. Remember those 4 things we are talking about? So if we start with the ISK, you have to figure out what kind of price class can you afford. Do you have 1 billion or 10 billion or 500 million? You need to kind of see where you're at, so you can kind of sort out a lot of expensive stuff. That's not what you want to have. Also, what kind of stuff in game do you know most about? Like, are you a miner? Do you know a lot about mining? Do you know the prices of ore, the ships, the rigs are using? Are you manufacturing ships? Do you know what kind of components you need? Are you a PvPer? Do you know a lot about PvP? Whatever it is that you know the most, that's where you have like an edge to evaluate the items that you might want to buy. With these starting points, you now need to get some more information. I would say Eve Echoes patch notes is a good start. I'd say that is the best way to get the true information, because that states very clearly what they will do. But secondly, I'd say Eve echoes, questions and answers, Q&As. I would say Q&As are very good to get in on cheap stuff before majority of people knows that is going to be expensive. If you guys want, I can cover the Q&A on the future patch notes mixed with my thoughts. Just let me know down in the comment and I might do that. So with this new information, you can make an investment. This can of course go either good or bad. So you need to predict stuff to make sure you are buying the correct items for your purpose. I will give you some of my own thoughts I've done earlier to help you easier do this yourself. You can get like an idea how I'm thinking. Back in the days when they started the ban war, I felt that minerals would go up, and it did, but it's now back on steady value. But I did buy minerals then, and I sold them a bit higher. I think I bought titanium for 2 and I sold them for maybe 4. So that was pretty good. It was way back, but yeah, that worked very well. When they announced the faction ship stuff, I started investing in faction salvage, and that also went up, so I made quite a good amount of money there. I have sold everything right now, so I could have actually made more, but I delved into another thing to do, so yeah. When they announced the insurance system, I knew that items would be cheaper due to that nothing would get lost because you get everything back. And this is to this day correct, so everything is very cheap. We got Nihilus space, and when I read about that, I felt like that will bring more people to the game, or even bring back people that have played. So my thought was pretty much like this. More people means more loot and more destruction. Also more Plex on the market, because people spend real life money. Nihilus will also provide with merging the Dead Space gear. So I had to think about what will happen to those. I assumed that there will be a bit more expensive, but it would get like back into low price again because more people will farm it. It will go up in the beginning, but it will go down. And also when you're merging the items, you need the materials, and those materials is today very, very expensive. Far more expensive than they should be, because like A-type and X-type gear is like impossible today. Those items will go down. I would not buy those. Those will be very cheap, and the Dead Space gear is the ones that will go up in price. So my thought around that was, I think that I will sell my Plex. So I sold them at 2.1 million or something like that, and I invested in some other stuff. And in the future, when the player base gets bored, the Plex will rise again, and before that I will need to buy back some more, so I can buy low maybe if I'm lucky. But I don't think that will work for me, since my investment probably will not be sellable by then. But that is my thoughts, but that's fine. It's a lot easier to sell something worth 1 million for 2 million each, and I personally sell it for like 7 million each. So that is like, if I have it in Plex and the Plex is 2 million each, it has to go up to like 16 million, and that's not gonna happen. Plex is only good to invest in pretty much if you don't know what you want to invest into. If you have a bunch of ISK, you don't know what to use it for, then put it into Plex for a while, until you know what you're gonna invest to. Also, if you're taking a break, like a year from the game, you could put that into Plex, because Plex always tend to rise in the long run. When you get back, you probably have some extra ISK. I know this might seem hard to some people and possibly impossible to others, but I am sure that there are a few people who probably does this better than me. I hope you found this interesting, and I'm sorry if this was way too much information, but I think it's very hard to explain. But if you guys want me to make videos like regularly about my thoughts and my investments, so you can copy it or whatever, just tell me, like down in the comment section, so I know. If thousands of people do exactly as I do, then there will be an issue, I know. The predictions will be very off, but I'll find another way. And you will see that in the videos too, so yeah, that's also a problem. Well, games are meant to be fun, and if there is no challenge, then it will become boring, and we do not want it to be boring, no matter the ISK we make, am I right? I will end this video with my own prediction about B, A, and X-type gear. This is just my thoughts. We can see if it's correct in the future. But B-type, small type gear is kind of what we can build today. So C-type are going to be a little bit more expensive. Or it's already a little bit expensive, but it will be a bit more. But I think it's good to invest even now. Medium C-type is going to take at least 2 to 3 months until we see a big difference. So if you wanna go into that, you could stack up on those right now. Large items are way ahead. It's hard to say. We will see in the future. Like, I will probably see some stuff happening, and I will maybe change my mind. But I think that at least half a year ahead. So if you buy those now, that could secure you in the long term. But also that is a very long investment. I also want to add 2 more things. All the items fluctuate. Is that the word? The prices goes up and down now and then. A 1 million items can the next day be worth like 4 million, but 2 days later than that, it could be back at 1 million. And this is not a steady rise in price. This happens every time myself or someone else is buying a large amount of items. So what I want to say is, like, don't panic to just sell. If you're making 150% or 200%, don't panic sell. You should actually just hold on to the items until it's even more expensive. And the last thing, always remember you're paying the tax on your items. So you have to have that in your calculations, and just have patience. I see you guys in space.